Okay, so we are recording now. It's okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to spend a little bit, the first, maybe 20 minutes, we'll kind of see how it goes, looking at website design and messaging. How effective your design and messaging is. We're going to look at one of your competitors. We're going to look at a music studio who I think is doing a pretty good job of getting their message across. And then we're going to go outside of the industry and look at a non-music related website. And with your competitor, we're also going to want to look at how you're positioning yourself differently than they are. So what first thing we're going to do? Can you see here where it says the 5-second test? You see that on the screen?
Sure, yeah. I've also got a copy of your script in front of me.
Yeah, and I'm constantly always changing this or adding to it. So
Sure.
what you have in front of you should be pretty close to what this is. But we're going to first look at your website, competitor's website, a music studio, and then we're going to go outside the industry. So we want to be able to look at your website and within 5 seconds identify what is this and what's in it for me as me being the customer, and then what do you want me to click on? Because people are looking right away to see what it is that they can click. It allows them to interact with the website. So
yeah, the thing I took from Danny right away was that I had no call to action and no real no call to action and no real description right off the top, right off the bat. Over top of that kid on the drum set, or better yet, a color image of me teaching a kid is what he wanted, with a slogan and then a call to action button.
Yeah, right. That's great. And we're really going to look in the whole, we're just going to look at the above the fold section, that main kind of landing area of your website. We're going to do it on 4 websites. All right. So here we go. So I'm not going to say anything. We're just going to look. Here's In Rhythm Percussion Studio. What is this? What's in it for me? And what should I click on? Let's go to Earl Jones Music. What is this? What's in it for me? And what am I supposed to click on? Let me close this. Do you know this studio, Footprints Music?
I've seen them, I think, in some of the Facebook groups.
Yeah. Okay, so what is this? What's in it for me? And what does he want me to click on? And then we're going to go outside the industry. What is this? What's in it for me? And what do they want me to click on? Okay, so I'm going to work backwards. What is this? It says, we organize your stuff. Okay, so that's what it is. They organize my stuff. And what's in it for me? They're going to make my life easier. Ah, okay, yeah. That's appealing. And what do they want me to click on? They want me to click on this Get Organized Now. So it's just really, everything's very clear. Okay, what is this? It's music lessons. Well, what's in it for me? It's going to make my kid more confident. Oh, okay, so it's talking about a personal desire. And what am I supposed to do? What do they want me to click on? This Start Today button. There's another one up there too. Let's look at Earl Jones Music. What is this? It's the largest music school in North Carolina. What's in it for me?
Music lessons. That's about it. Yeah, there's no.
Yeah, but it's not like, well, nothing really.
It's not attention grabbing. Yeah.
The only thing that's in it for me is they're showing me, now they're not with their words telling me what's in it for me, but now there's a picture of this girl playing guitar and I can imagine my child doing that. So through a photograph, they're saying, well, here's what's in it for you. And what do they want me to do? They want me to talk to them. It has a contact us button. It's like, contact us means let's have a conversation. Well, I really don't want to talk to you. I want to sign up for music lessons. That's the only reason why anyone would be here is because they're at least thinking about music lessons. But here, we'll get back to this in a second. Okay, so this, and I think Danny did a good job. Right, you need to say something. This is what we do, and this is we're going to make your life easier. We're going to make your kid confident. talk about
Mhm.
the outcome. Okay, so let's hop back to this. Let's quickly look at the above the fold. Are you creating, are all these websites, we'll do it for each one, is there a triangle pattern that's being created with the logo, call to action buttons? Is there a main headline? And how's the call to action placed? How's the logo placed? And then is the featured image showing the customer having a peak moment? And how does that tie in with the message? So let's talk about the triangle. Logo, upper left-hand corner, another call to action, not really pronounced here, and then another call to action. This is creating that triangle. It's kind of, it guides your eyes through it. These guys are doing it too. Logo, upper left-hand corner, scans across to a call to action, another call to action, but kind of drop down in the sun,
Right.
creating that triangle. These guys kind of have it going on. They got the logo, here. They have phone numbers here. I don't know. I'm not on mobile, but those, for their sake, they really want those phone numbers to be clickable. And then they've got, so they kind of got a triangle going on here. And then here,
It's clickable. Yeah.
yeah, you just don't have that triangle pattern. So something to consider. There's your call to action down there, which is similar to theirs. Their call to action is let's talk. Yours is let's talk. Let's get in touch.
Right.
So you can I would seriously consider, okay, let's make our call. You could express a little bit more confidence. If you say, get started today, it's like, no, let's make this happen. A statement of action and confidence is one way to outmaneuver them. Look at his call to action. Yeah, go ahead.
Right. It's passive. So give me an example of what you'd like to see my call to action button read.
So a call to action button should always, there should be some implied action. And and people are there to buy. So I think a lot of people are afraid to come out and say, let's buy. Like, this is what you're here to do.
Right.
Now, people are smart enough. They're smart. They know that if they click on that they didn't just buy anything. There's some more stuff that they're going to have to do. I mean, like, let's look at her. She says, get organized when? Right now, this very moment. Well, I'm pretty confident that if I click on this,
the moving team isn't going to show up at your door.
Right. It's going to start the process. So what's happening here is this is a stall tactic, and you don't want to stall or delay. Start playing music today. Get started now. What Danny's is?
I don't. He also told me to make sure it's in color and vibrant and not in gray.
Right. You want it to pop out and have it be its own. Wait, hold on. Why isn't it Music Factory? That will get me there. Like, she's got it. Hey, hold on. Here he is. I think that's him. Yeah, so hers is, get organized now. His is start today. Danny's is get started.
Okay.
I think this one's really good. Start today. It's like, well, I'm thinking about it. Just kind of researching music lessons for my kid. But you're telling me you're going to build my kid's confidence? I can't delay that. I want my kid to start feeling confident today. Now, these guys now have the challenge of they're going to have to convince that mom. That mom's going to be like, wow, you clearly do have a plan on how you're going to build my kid's confidence.
Right.
Anyone can, you can give them credit for coming up with that, attractive brand promise of building confidence. But now all of his sales copy has to be all about building kids' confidence. Like he's got to really understand what that means. Okay, so let's go back to the list here. Call to actions, logo placement. So yeah, we talked about that. Featured image. Let's just,
So
good
real
feature.
quick,
Yeah.
on featured image. So if I click the green share button on this, it'll share me your screen, right?
Yeah. I think.
You have to stop. You have to stop screen sharing before I can screen share. Apparently.
Oh, do I have to do something to?
Yeah. Yeah. You have to stop sharing. So just go ahead and hit your green and stop sharing your screen, and then I can share my screen to you. Let's see here. So like what he was, he wants a color image of something like that. Can you see this here?
Here we go. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Something of me teaching a kid rather than having, just a stock photo of a kid sitting in a drum set.
I think these are
I've
both.
got.
So I like this picture of you and this boy on piano.
On the left there, yeah.
I like it. I just wish I could. It takes a second for me to figure out what you guys are sitting at.
What about like?
But then this boy.
What about that?
Oh yeah, there you go.
You like that better?
That's better. Because he's smiling. You can see more of his face. You look like this kind of caring guy. What's nice about you is, what are you? You're probably over 30.
Not even close, man. I'm 26.
You're 26, but
I'm 26 years old. Yeah.
Well, the beard ages you, but you look like a dad.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can really leverage that to your advantage. You look like this trusting, caring dad, at least in this photo. And
well, thank you.
And it's really interesting. There's this interview I did with this one woman where she said, she said that when she heard that her teacher was going to be a man for her daughter, that she really wanted to check him out. Like she was a little nervous about what that was going to be like. And I think a photo like this can say to a mom, like, well, I still want to check him out, but he looks like, like a caring father type. So that could really work towards you. Do you have kids?
I have one. Yeah, 3 years old.
Well, and that is a huge marketing tool. You can say to people, as a father myself, I understand, and then go from there.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So that would literally be my featured image, and I would have text over top of that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's also nice about it is your background here. Can you click on that boy on drums right next to it?
Yes.
So the nice thing about that picture is it'll be easy to lay text over it because of all that white space.
Yeah.
Now, not every parent is going to recognize the instrument he's playing. They'll recognize what he's holding.
Right.
Although your face is like clearly not the focal point, it's almost a distraction. It's like, because the focal point's the boy, whereas I think that the photograph, the other one, I think should be easy enough to get some text.
I think I can drop text in here and a button here. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure I can swing that. Yeah.
I think that the biggest thing is you look like a nurturing, caring person, and this boy looks happy and he's enjoying himself.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's maybe 10?
Yeah, if that. Yeah, he's 7 to 10 years old, somewhere in there. Yeah.
Okay, so that's also another thing. It's like, think of what the average age of your customer is, and then
he's spot on right in there. Yeah,
there you go.
Because I don't have many teenagers like this.
Right.
Almost all my kids are just like Armani, this kid right here.
There you go. Right. Yeah. So I think that's your photo, at least to start with. You know, it's
Yeah.
kind of, it's easy enough to swap it out if you get a better photograph. What was that professionally done or taken?
Yeah, so those are actually clips out of my video that you see on my homepage there.
Mhm.
So on that right on the website, the first page there, when you scroll down, our story, those are clips directly out of that YouTube video that I had professionally videoed. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And Danny kind of ripped on that video a bit because it was all about me and not the school. When I made that video, I didn't have a school. I mean, I
Right.
made it literally. I built the website, I recorded the video, I got my space, I did all of this before I even had students. And so literally, it was a year ago that I quit my day job, used the last bit of my savings to open up a storefront, and then here we are a year later with 80 kids a week, 3
Wow.
instructors, and a music school. So yeah, yeah. So
I heard this
yeah.
one copywriter, she said, look at your sales copy, like look at that video, and every time you say the word me or I, can you
For
change it?
myself,
Yeah, can you change that word to you?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
I will do this. Is there a way to go? No, you will feel, you will experience your child. You know, every every time you say your child, the mom's ears pick up or perk up.
Yeah,
Every time, every time you say me, the mom's going, okay, I better pay attention. I got to pay attention. Because there's nothing emotional about you to them. But when you
right,
say your child, this, like the footprints. He's saying your child will feel confidence through music. That will
right.
get parents to perk up. Let's hop back to
So so obviously your call to action, the get started now button, and obviously the description of what is it, obviously it's
mm,
music lessons, but then what is that second part of that? The what is the outcome?
that's that's going to be maybe the hardest 3 words you've ever written in your life. You
Okay,
know,
so because those three words will dictate the entire copy of the rest of my website.
and it will dictate how you talk on the phone and how you write your emails and how you create Facebook content.
So in reality, it's already out there and been set already, right? Like, because I have a way of doing things, and I've done it the same way for a year now. So I probably already have that 3-word thing that I need, and I just got to figure out what it is,
Well,
right?
let's do this. Let's jump ahead into the sales copy portion.
Okay.
Um, okay, so let's get right to this. It says we'll do some exercises. Um, what do your we're going to look at first of all, what do your customers want, and why are they seeking out music lessons? So this is a question I want you to ask or answer. Um, yeah, why do you think your customers want music lessons? Just kind of brainstorm. Just think out loud.
I mean, most of my parents usually tell me that there's nothing for their kids to do around here. And so they're always looking for activities to get their kids involved with. And so music seemed like a logical choice. I don't know why else does a mother seek out lessons for their kids? Because they
And,
want them to be musical,
and why do they
Um,
and why do they want them to be musical? Why is that important to them?
um, they want their kid to be well rounded and to have the best they want them to be as involved and prepared for life as they can be and have multiple avenues and venues and so forth that they can do that in. I'm assuming most parents want them to be in school band and so forth and continue to do it, throughout their education as a supplement to it. So I don't know. That's a great question.
So you use the words well-rounded, and you can see my screen again.
Yeah.
You use the words well-rounded and prepared for life. Um,
Hmm.
why is that important to them? Why is it important to a parent? And you can relate now. I mean, your child's, is it a boy or a girl?
Sure. I have a 3-year-old boy. Yeah.
What's his name?
Leo.
Why is it important to you that Leo, there he is, be
Yeah.
well-rounded and prepared for life? Why is that important to you?
You want him to be successful.
Why
You don't
can't
want.
he? Why isn't school? Tell me about what does successful mean then? Like successful how?
You want, well, you want him to be successful in life in general, succeeding in everything that he does. But then also you want him to live a happy, fulfilled life.
Um, uh-huh. And why do you think music would get him there?
Oh gosh. Has it got me there? I don't know. That's a great question.
But I mean, like he goes to school, or he will go to
Right.
school. Won't school make him well-rounded and prepared for life and successful and happy? Why isn't that enough?
I want to give him everything that I can. I mean, I want to get him involved in every possible thing that can help him, every opportunity available.
Um, and school's just not cutting it. School's just not going to be enough.
I mean, school's not special. Everyone goes through school. That doesn't set somebody apart.
Mm. Now you're talking about his placement in society. What does it mean? What would it mean? Okay, let's stop there. That's a lot. So you talked about you have a desire for Leo to be well-rounded, to be prepared for life. You have a desire for him to be successful and happy, to live a full life. And you want to, as a parent, you want to create every opportunity for him to succeed. You also want him for him to connect to, and you didn't say this, but tell me if you would agree to this. You want him to connect with something that's going to make him feel unique and set him apart.
Yeah. Maybe that phrase resounded with me a bit, I mean, I don't know, music lessons that set kids apart.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that language in a second, because I think we got to get a lot of words and then start kind of narrowing it
Whittling them
down.
Okay.
Okay, so let's just kind of, I think that's good. Let's move on to this. Number 2, tell me about your music studio, but don't tell me about your music lessons. Tell me about how you help kids through music.
Oh gosh.
So I'm on the phone with you. I'm thinking of signing up my 9-year-old for piano lessons. Don't tell me about the scales and the chords and the method books. Tell me about how piano lessons are going to help my kid.
That's hard. I never had to do that. I never had to vocalize it. How are piano lessons going to help your kids?
Okay, now go personal then. Think about how you're a drummer first.
Yeah.
So tell me about
Yep.
how drumming helped you kind of get through adolescence and growing up. Why was that important to you?
When I was young, it gave me an identity, and it shaped who I became almost, because I had something I was working towards, and I was, everything I did, every decision I made, I almost made it based off of the fact that I wanted to be a better drummer. It gave me a purpose, and so that's just me. I mean, it was, it defined who I was, and it gave me a purpose. Yeah.
Okay, that's huge. It gave you an identity. It helped shape you. It gave you a goal. It gave you a purpose, and it really helped you become a better person.
Right.
How did it impact you? When did you start playing drums?
I started taking private lessons when I was 6.
And when was it kind of known to your other friends that you were a drummer?
Probably within the first few years. I mean, I think at first I was kind of like, I obviously couldn't really play drums. I was learning as I went. It wasn't until probably like, elementary age that, I was in school and around a lot of my peers, and I was always tapping on stuff and so forth. And, it became known, and I started to wear it like like a badge of, I was proud of it. Does that make sense?
And did you ever do anything in school, like a talent show
Oh yeah,
where you played drums?
I was in every talent show I could.
So tell me about that first talent show.
My first ever talent show, I was in elementary school, and it was a talent show, and I had taken 3 trash cans up on stage, and for 5 minutes long, I played a piece that I had written and performed, and it was a big hit, and I remember it vividly to this day. Yeah.
And there's do you remember the applause afterwards?
Oh, sure. I do. Mm-hmm.
How did you feel?
Great. Yeah, I felt very fulfilled. Yep.
How did the kids treat you after, like, as you kind of like walked back,
with your shoulders back, head held high? You were proud. They treated you like you were the cool kid.
But kind of in a moment, you were transformed into the cool kid.
Right.
Why does music make you the cool kid? You could have gone up, and why, if you had juggled 3 tennis balls, would that have made you the cool kid?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe it depends on how good your juggling was, but it's not as unique.
What does it mean, do you think, to a group of 8-year-old, elementary school kids, when they know that they've got a rock drummer in their school?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think the kids probably were just as happy about watching it as I was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
And you also gave them something to brag about.
Yeah.
No. Oh, Mom, guess what? Kelly, we got a kid in our school who plays drums, and he did with trash cans, and it was so cool. And like, you gave them I bet you some of those kids even went home and told their parents about it.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So really what you're like writing, I would really turn to your own personal story, to not tell people that it's your personal story, but to use that to guide your sales copy. Let's take a look here. Number 2 says, what transformation do kids experience by coming to your studio? Well, it's really about playing music. What transformation did you have in that moment? You went from being just a regular kid to kind of being the cool rock guy, right?
Sure.
So that's huge. And we'll get back to that. What should that statement be? How will your customers' lives be different after taking music lessons at your studio? Okay, well, let's play this one out here. Think about your own personal journey. How did music impact your life? Imagine what your life would look like without music in it. So what would your music look like without music in it? And I know that's hard to imagine because it's been a part of your life.
Sure.
But imagine if you couldn't play anymore, you couldn't listen to music anymore. It was just no longer a thing. How would you feel?
It'd be a very different life. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I might not be the perfect guy to answer that question, because I can honestly tell you that, like, even if music didn't exist in my life, like, I would be okay. Does that make sense? Like, it's not the core resounding heartbeat of my life. I love it. Don't get me wrong. But I come from I come from a background of ministry and so forth. Which, you're Jewish, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Orthodox Jews. So we can relate.
And so obviously, with a background in ministry and working for churches my whole life, my all-consuming passion is not really music. It's it's the Lord. But there's not a. So me personally, I would be okay if music wasn't in my life. But if I look at it from a studio owner who that's all he has is his music studio, and just he loves music with all his heart. Without music, he can't even envision what life would be.
But as a religious man, and I struggle with this myself, is I know that first of all, I believe anyone can play music. I don't believe anyone can play it great. Right. But I think anyone can do it on some level. I do feel like my musical talent is a God-given gift, and I do feel like, okay, well, why did he give this to me? I need to do something with it.
Right.
and that it would sort of, I wouldn't be fulfilling my mission here on this planet
If
if
you
I
did,
just ignored it,
yeah,
you know. But okay, so I think, you know, I mean, you have this all recorded here, and you know you can see this, but let's look at some of the words that that really jump out at me. I'm going to bold some of these. You know, well-rounded, prepared for life. Um, you know, you talked about success. You know, quite often when we hear that word, we think about like professional success, but we also know that success is a bigger, you know, thing than that. Um, connection, connection with something, and a feeling of unique, you know, discovering your individual self. Um, and status is huge. When a child has status, they understand where they fit in the social order. Um, let's see, what else did you hit on? Um, okay, so yeah, so I think this is sort of the birth of all your sales copy, right in here. You know, you have to be able to say, um, you know, at In Rhythm, we believe this. Actually, let's move on a little bit. Let's, because we're going to get there. We're going to have to look at your about us, which you covered in your video, and it needs to be all about the customer.
right.
And there has to be a component of story to it, and there has to be emotional triggers in it, and a sense of transformation. Actually, even when you talk to a customer, you want that conversation, whether it's email conversation to a new customer, or on the phone, you want it to be about them. You want to convey story. You want to trigger their emotions, and you want them to have a sense of transformation. I'm just curious, when I was asking you all those questions about your drumming and the talent show, were
Sure.
there any emotional triggers going off for you?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I deliberately did that.
Mhm.
And it was a complete, you know, kind of, I was deliberately doing it, and you probably on a certain level enjoyed it, and your customers will enjoy it too. If you
Yeah.
can deliberately set off the triggers. Take a look at how this lady writes. Okay. She's going to hit all those points. She's going to, she's going to make it customer centric. She's going to tell a story. She's going to set off your emotions, and she's going to show you what transformation she can provide you. Okay. So just looking at this, it's only a few sentences. And I'll read this here. It says, life is full of long work days, unexpected roadblocks, and everyday challenges. It is these things that fill our time and keep us from getting what our heart long for, a place to rest. So she's telling a story of like stress and anxiety and, you know, being busy. So she keeps digging in. You've tried to organize your home by yourself, but continue to be frustrated with a cluttered kitchen counter or not being able to find the car keys, phone, or child's homework. She's just turning up the heat on your pain. But she says, but at our business, we're going to eliminate the clutter, set up or organizing systems, and find the perfect place for everything in your home so that you, the customer, can focus on what matters most. So it
Hmm.
was a great job of it. She didn't say anything about herself. She just said, I understand the pain you have in your life, and
Right.
I'm going to help you get to where you want to be. Let's quickly look at Alex, how he writes. Um, yeah, I like this. He says, did you have lessons as a child? Sure, I did. Um, and did it feel like a chore? It totally did. Was that strict, stuffy teacher making lessons hard? Yep, she totally was. Want something different for your family? Of course I do. We make music easy. So he's coming out and saying, this is going to be easy. This is a story we hear all the time, and we're listening. We've created all the best things about music lessons and put it together for a music lesson experience that will And then he kind of goes on. At the end, he says, our instructors will have your child playing songs from day one. So he's making a brand promise. Your kid's going to play from day one. Fun lessons keep kids engaged and wanting more. Well, that's what I want for my kid. So I don't think his sales copy it could be better, but I think he's definitely hitting on something nice here. Okay, so that's all customer-centric copy. Alec's story was a story of the stuffy old teacher and the transformation they're going to provide. He hit on emotional triggers, talking, about the parents, teacher bad lessons and how they're going to make it better. And the transformation is that their child will have fun lessons. What you need to do is you got to come up with a mission statement that says what's the name of your studio? In Rhythm. Yeah, and you have to say In Rhythm, we believe, and then you got to fill in that blank. And that what you believe has to be a statement of transformation. So for example, in my school, we said, at Dave Simon's Rock School, we believe music has the ability to transform a child's life. When children perceive music as something that is fun and comes easy to them and that they're successful at, they're that much more likely to continue on playing. Mm-hmm. Our goal is and then you have to map out your outcome, or our hope is to help kids connect with music and discover their true potential. Music lessons that help kids discover their true potential. I mean, there's potentially your line that you need. But you got to dig into the core of what you believe in. And
sure.
it can't, and the answer to that is going back to that talent show. Mm-hmm. And what music gave to you. Because that's really and also you ask yourself, why are you even teaching music? Are you doing it because you're good at it, or is it because you want to pass on that feeling that you had?
Right, that's it, yeah.
Right. So there's your big selling angle. And when you write about your instruments, you got to, here, I'm going to share with you some, let's see if I have it here. These are different storylines that you can play out. But for example, here's some sales copy about guitar lessons. So the format of it is I say something unexpected, I lay out a story, I incorporate nostalgia, and I infuse status. This is how I would describe guitar lessons in my studio. I don't want to talk about scales and chords and note reading. Parents don't care about that at all. They care about, let me see if I can zoom in on this. I can't. Okay, it says, remember that kid in your college dorm room with the acoustic guitar? His or her room was always the place to hang out. The late night singing of campfire classics that went into the early morning. Everyone wanted to be that kid in the dorm who played guitar. He or she filled up the hallways with music and memories. Perhaps your child will be that kid. Fill the world with music. Start guitar lessons today. Okay, there's nothing in there about guitar lessons.
Sure.
It's all about the outcome. Okay, so let's look at your competition. Let's look at how they're positioning themselves. And then whatever they're doing, it's really important to analyze. Even if you don't really think of them as competition, you need competition. So you can position yourself differently. Right. Because you know what? Someday you might get, a real big competitor moving a mile down the road for you, and then you're going to panic. And, sure. You want to be ready for them, for that big competitor. Okay, so their brand promise is that they're the biggest music school. Okay, going back to all these things that you said back in here, never did you talk about anything that reflects that at all. They're saying something Parents don't care about that. Oh, the largest music school. That's what I want. That's not what parents want. They want music lessons that will transform their child. So this means nothing to a parent.
Right.
Really what they're saying is we're really popular. It's like, I don't know. That would be like if you were to check out if you're on some dating website and the girl says, I'm the hottest girl in North Carolina. It's like, oh, okay. Like, like anyone can say that.
Sure.
And so they're saying something that, it doesn't mean anything. But let's look at how they, here, are we the right music school for you? Here, let's look at how they write about their music lessons. Let's look at, wow, first of all, this is really hard to read. So they're saying we offer private lessons for different skills, and this is how much it costs. Advanced lessons are priced differently. If you're interested in a career in professional music, we offer this. So basically, they're saying this is what we do. They're not. There's zero emotional content, so you can quickly outmaneuver them by switching to emotional content. Here, let's look at how you're describing. Okay, in Rhythm and Percussion Studio in Rhythm Percussion Studio is proud to offer private lessons in drums. Okay, so you're saying this is what we do. Traditional one-on-one, ready to commit to more formal studies. Students work to develop greater in-depth understanding and facilitate the instrument and topics. Regardless of your interest, we'll work with you to design a course of study to best reach your goals. Okay, so let's hop back here really quick and look at, where is it? Because I talk about, okay, we're going to look for, in your copy, are you displaying the curse of knowledge? Do you know what that means? Have you heard that term?
Does that mean that you are almost arrogant about the fact that you know something they don't?
Right. It's like if you and I were to have a conversation about music and somebody was sitting there with us that didn't know anything about music, you and I would probably become guilty of engaging in the curse of knowledge, that we would make certain assumptions. Like we would okay, hey, let's bring the level of talk down a little bit because we're talking with a non-musician, but we still overestimate what they know.
Right.
Like even if you say to a parent, well, today, we worked on scales. They don't, or hey, today, we were working on rudiments in the lesson. Right. They have no idea what that is. Oh, rudiments. Well, those are sticking patterns. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we were working on different combinations of using your hands. Ah, that I know. Okay. So in our efforts to sell, we are often guilty of the curse of knowledge. So we want to look, is there any sign of storytelling? And then are you ever being cute and clever? Cute and clever can backfire real quick. And is it conversational? You really want it to be conversational. Like, is this how you would talk? If you met someone at a party, let's look at this. And they said, hey, Kelly, tell me about your music studio.
That's all a bio. It's not even about the school. It's about me.
Right. You wouldn't say this. So I think what you want to come out and say is you want to sort of think okay, how would you describe your school if you ran into an old friend, at a party and, hey, Kelly, what are you up to today? What I would say for my school, I had it worked out. I was like, well, I'd say to them, oh, did you take music lessons as a kid? Oh, yeah, I took music lessons. Well, you know how all kids love music, right? You love music as a kid, but so many kids hate music lessons. And in my studio, we're all about putting programs together that make playing an instrument fun and easy. And we do it through rock bands. So kids can feel successful and that they can have this sense of, community from day one. And when kids perceive that playing music's easy, they're so much more likely to stick with it and get all the benefits that music has to offer them. Now the parents going, wow, like that's interesting. Like, tell me more. And that's what you want, is you want the parents to view you as someone who's like that they can trust. So let's see if we can kind of formulate some sales copy. Yeah, I think it's important that you come out and you say music lessons. Now, one of your challenges is that you do drums and piano.
I do drums, piano, and guitar. Yeah.
Okay, now I think that the fact that you're called In Rhythm Percussion Studio, I don't think that's a problem. I think Danny, even in his review, talked about Guitar Center.
Right.
It creates a hurdle for you.
Mm-hmm.
It does. Guitar Center had a hurdle, and they totally overcame it.
Yeah, I've used it as a conversational point because most people don't realize that piano is a percussion instrument. By very definition, it is classified as a percussion instrument. And so when I first opened here, it was just piano and drums. But I've always played guitar, and I had a lot of inquiries all at once about guitar, and I was like, you know what, I could afford to pick up 15 extra students and just go ahead and offer guitar, even though I'm not even a guitar studio, and so I added guitar to it, and so it wasn't it wasn't initially in the plan. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I think it's
it would
easy
be
enough.
In Rhythm School of Music or In Rhythm Music School. Yeah, I wouldn't have done percussion. My heart's percussion because that's what I majored in. That's my heart. But so yeah, I've never had an issue with it. I mean, I'm sure that if I was in Rhythm Music School, I'd get more inquiries about other instruments. But like even now, 90 kids, more than half of those are piano.
Here, let's do this really quick. I'm going to check your SEO. Guitar lessons in. Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Earl Jones is beating you there, but.
Right. He's got me beating the organics, but in the paids up top, I've got him beat because I have Google AdWords.
Uh-huh.
That's what it is.
Let's look up piano. Okay.
My biggest competitor.
There you are.
Yep. Yeah. So, like for instance, like above In Rhythm there, Just in Time's the one in Jacksonville. She's another competitor of mine.
Is that who this is?
Yeah, that's the other competitor. You have Earl Jones, Just in Time, and then Charles Coakley. Those are the three. And her site's toxic.
yeah, that doesn't look so hot.
Yeah. But if you scroll up, Charles Coakley Conservatory right there, I actually worked for him for a little bit. That's the other music school down in Jacksonville. But what you'll notice is on all Google and Facebook, I've got 4 times the number of 5-star reviews of any of my competition.
Wow.
Yeah, I've done really well with making sure that I had pretty good SEO and layout when it comes to that.
So I think like what I would encourage, first of all, if you want to engage people with your website, you've got to do it through emotional triggers. There's got to be an emotional component. Like when you describe your drum lessons, if you were to say, imagine how your child will feel stepping out onto the stage for the first talent show to play the drums. Mm-hmm. Imagine how you will feel when there's a burst of applause after your child plays their last cymbal. Like, right. Okay, now you're in a story. Now the mom's going, oh my God, like I would love to feel that. Well, great. Right. Well, guess what? We're going to get you there. Taking those little personal stories, thinking to your own life. I mean, the fact that you said that to this day, you still remember that talent show. Well, there's some sales copy. It will be a moment neither you or your child will ever forget.
But never put it in context of me personally, as though I was telling the story.
Right. And that your job is to be
to put them in the shoes if I was. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Right. Never say it's about you. You need to be Obi-Wan Kenobi and say, look, I am here I'm going to help you
Yeah.
learn the Force. I'm going to help you um, get to where you need to go on your journey. I'm going to help you confront Darth Vader.
Right.
But it's not going to be about me and my skills.
Right.
It's going to be about it's like there's this scene. You've seen the movie Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
So there's this scene where Obi-Wan Kenobi says to Luke, "Hey, look, come with me, so we can confront Vader." He's like, "No, I got to stay here on the farm and work with my uncle." And then Obi-Wan's like, "Come on, Luke, you like no, that's not where you're." Like he's articulating for Luke feelings that he has. And the fact that he's able to articulate it makes him a trusted guide. If you can articulate for your customers feelings that they have in a way that they never thought about it.
Right.
My whole strategy was like, look, and like when I'm on the phone with a mom, I always say, I'm just curious, did you ever take music lessons as a child? Yeah, I took piano. Oh, and what was that experience like? I hated it. Well, listen, Mom, like that's how it is for most people. And here at In Rhythm, we are committed to not repeating that pattern. We want your child to love, his music lessons. And the way we teach here ensures that because of these things. And you have to spell it out. You can't start talking about music. You got to say, our goal is to have your child up and playing on day one. And, we try to focus on the successes your child has and build on those experiences. Using
Right.
language that they can relate to.
Yeah.
And this whole idea, and you said this, this whole transformation into the cool guy. Who is it? Look at this school. They play into that. Have you seen this website?
No.
Music lessons so cool, you'll be jealous of your own kid.
That's cool.
They're saying this is what we do, and your kid will be cool that even you will want to be like your kid. Which means if you want to be like your kid, other people will want to be like your kid. Other
Right.
people will want to be friends with your kid. Your kid will be popular. Your kid will have an easier time navigating through the social challenges of adolescence because your kid will be a rock drummer.
Right.
So is there anything you want to touch upon before we?
Yeah, I've got a couple questions here that I can run through really fast. Okay, so we talked about the image, the button, the call to action, all of that, right? The actual layout of the website, as far as like on mine, when you look at home, about, private instruction, testimonials, contact, what would you like to see as your page headers?
I'd like to see about. That's great. I think testimonials is great. You can get rid of contact by getting those buttons in there.
Okay, and the buttons, well, I'll get to the buttons in a sec. So as far as private instruction, Danny's big thing was break it up into each individual instrument.
Yeah.
Have a page for each instrument.
Yeah.
On the menu there even.
Yeah. I would have
a main drop down with sub drop downs. Once they click private lessons, have it, music lessons, go pick on the instrument.
I would be inclined to have the word maybe lessons right here instead of private instruction.
Okay.
And then when they hover over it, like this.
Right.
Yeah.
And then have the different options.
Yeah. I like how he does. He has private lessons, and then it's real simple.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Testimonials is huge.
Yeah, my testimonials on there need to be updated. I have 50, 60 reviews on Facebook and Google of parents. These were not parents. These were friends,
That's fine. For me as a parent, even if I don't read them, I'll go, oh, well, somebody thinks he's worthy.
Yeah.
Video testimonials are also much more effective. And then also, I think it's one thing to throw testimonials up there. I think ultimately you need to discover what is your mission statement.
Right.
And then through that mission statement, go, okay, which testimonials reflect that mission statement? So let's say
Yeah.
your mission statement is, you know, that, you know, you believe that music helps give kids the tools that they need to navigate through the challenges of life.
Right.
And at In Rhythm, we do this, and here's how we do it. And then when a parent says something like, oh, you know, my kid is so, you know, confident now, or when they kind of reflect your mission statement,
Right.
that's what you want to throw in there, as opposed to if Brittany were to say, oh, you know, my kid didn't practice that much at their old teacher, but now at In Rhythm, he's practicing all the time. Well, that's not really what your mission statement's about. So you
Right.
might not want to feature that portion of the
Right.
testimonial.
So the about page of the website is still going to be a story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And
You
and
know,
and the purpose of the about page. So for instance, like, you know, you have the home page, right? Which is really the main page. You don't even have a home button. You just click the top icon, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What is the home page after that? After that call to action and the picture and so forth up top, what else do you want to see on that page?
Great question. So ideally,
Is that where the mission statement?
well, let's take a look at her site because she does a good job of it. Yeah, I'm glad you're bringing this up. So she comes
Expound
out,
on your, okay.
and here, let's actually take a look. I want to pull up, this is my old school's website. And I do it similar to her. Yeah, so I also was playing up this cool factor.
Yeah.
But like her, so she's got this story right here, you know, and I had a little bit of, there was my copy. I just said, our school is based on the idea that all kids love music, but not all kids love lessons. We offer band classes and lessons that make playing an instrument fun and easy, which helps kids feel good about themselves. That was it.
Yeah.
You know, and then, but I use right here, and and I bet you she does this too. These are called trust badges, where you show where you've been recognized. And if you don't have them, like she's got them, yeah, down here. You know, if you don't have them, fine. You don't have them, but
Did you see Earl Jones did that right at least? Yeah. Go back to his homepage. Featured on PBS TV, Red FTV, weekly on the cable,
and
Jacksonville
you know
Daily
what?
News.
I would never read that. It's so hidden. I would have that sitting front and center. And all this is called a wall of text. And people don't read that stuff because people, they're in their mindset, they're going, what is this? And, you know, is this for me? And they see this and they're like, I don't have time to read this.
Right.
You know? So when you write copy, you also have to keep in mind that people aren't going to necessarily read it all. So here, like for example, take a look at this copy I wrote on my site. Like, okay, I know that people might not read all this. So I bolded a few things. We'll help you get more students. Plug and play. Grow by as much as 30%. They'll probably read those three things at least.
Right.
And that might build their desire enough. And look at my call to action. Yes, I want to grow my music studio.
Right.
It's, you know, but let's hop back here. So she does, this is what we're about. Here's the story. Now there's a testimonial, more testimonials. And then this is common, 3 easy steps and she keeps dropping in call to action.
Right.
Keeps dropping them in there. Donald Miller has this another call to action, has this whole idea of like, you might land on my website and it says start today. And you might think, I'm not ready to start today, whatever that means. You might read this and go, okay, maybe I do a little bit more, but I'm not ready to click it. I should have another call to action right here.
But they all redirect to the same place.
I'll go to the same place. That place,
yeah.
Look at it. It's like, just give me your name and your phone number and email. That's all I want. That's all I want. And here's a little video from me. You know, look at look at what he does. I think it's clever. Is he just says, let's start. Wait, it's not. Yeah, pick a time and to schedule a 15-minute phone call with me.
Yeah.
It's like, I just want to get you on the phone. A lot of people, let's take a look at your contact form. Oh, it's not bad. That's good. Name, email, phone number. Right. You're trying to connect. And the message, you
don't even need it.
I don't think you need it, because you're going to find out anyway what they want when you get on the phone with them.
Okay. So do you prefer using an app like Calendarly and scheduling phone calls, or do you prefer just getting their info like this?
So I'm currently doing it like you are, with just like, I do have a little video here, just so they can kind of get a sense of who I am. And it's just like, yeah, just give me your name. And then I'm going to get with them on the phone. I have considered doing, like, I think for these like coaching phone calls, I'll probably do something like that, where they can just,
that's a pretty cool plug-in there.
Right. You just click on it and it's like, oh, okay. Wednesday 9:30, confirm. And it's a done deal.
Right.
Mm-hmm. People older, I'm like, I'm 52. It's like, I'm kind of getting to that. Like, if someone's 55 and older, they might freak out when they see that.
Right.
But most of the moms in your studio, they're probably in their, like, I don't know, 30s, early 40s. They're not going to freak out when they see something like
that.
Yeah. Any other questions you want to address in terms of your website layout?
So we got the private lessons that have the drop down menu, the testimonials, the contact we don't need because the call to action does all of it.
Right. And your call to action's got to pop out there. I mean, he's got to popping out.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's got to be a featured color too. Yeah.
Yeah. And his is pretty. That's, right. He's keeping it real simple.
Right. Okay.
And look at this. Like, he's got this, what's his, Steve Krug calls this happy talk, where people just start writing things and they're not really adding. Like, he says, thank you for visiting our website. Please fill out the form. People know what the form is. Like, you don't need any of this.
Sure.
So he says a lot of websites get caught up in like, oh, I got to write something here. So they write, kind of fluff.
So mission statement goes on the about page.
Right. You can allude to it a little bit here.
Okay. But it's primarily designed to go about. Right.
You maybe want to have your, belief statement. At In Rhythm, we believe that music does this for kids. And we make that happen by doing this. Boom, and you're done. They'll read that. The thing that I like about this is, at a glance, just looking at it, I'll go, okay, it's short. I'll read it. If you had one or two more paragraphs, I might never read it. If it was only this long, I would definitely read it.
When is the place to drop in the video? Front page or about?
I think it's a great question. And there's, the research I've seen, there's no real, like, everyone kind of has different opinions about it. I think it's smart to have it here. I think the more video, the better. Like, if you had a video, so I think you're a huge selling point for your business. I mean, you're a good looking guy. You're articulate. You come from, it's what you said you've done work in the ministry.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What about your dad?
No. Well, my dad was always in the church, but he wasn't a minister like I was. No. I went to Bible college, yeah.
But you're comfortable talking in front of people.
Oh, I was a preacher. Yeah, I was behind a pulpit for years. Yeah.
Well, then there's your greatest. I would have your about statement here, and then maybe a short video of you just kind of free forming on the theme of it. Where you kind of like, hey, I'm Kelly, and say something that kind of reflects what it is, but maybe it's a little, because some people, they might just click the video and go, oh, I'm never going to read that
Right.
because I got the video. That's kind of what I'm trying to do that more and more on my pages, is to have, I think every page on my website has
Sure.
some video. Yeah, there's always some video there. And I'm always kind of going, I'm always bolding little pieces of text, and I'm trying to let it breathe, and just to make it really easy for people to read.
Okay, a couple things I want your opinions on real quick. So
Yeah.
you said, as far as other learning programs, you think that I'm good with you and with Danny to get all the information that I'll ever need. Like
Yeah.
you don't, so you don't see any merit in Mass or in, what is this new one by the young guy, Build a Music School, any of that?
So Mass, I wouldn't recommend. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I did Mass, and the big thing that I learned from Mass is that marketing is important.
Right.
The big thing I got, and I never thought about it before.
Right.
But I think I would encourage you to look outside of the industry. I would look at people like Gary. Have you heard of Gary Vaynerchuk?
No.
His pot in terms of social media stuff. Just as a religious guy, I want to warn you, he's got a mouth.
I don't care.
But he's got the wisdom and the insight. He's got a book called Crushing It. That's really good. Have you read, I'm looking for you know the book Donald Miller's Story Brand?
No.
Yeah, that's kind of a must read book.
So on the same realms of marketing here, I obviously have Google AdWords, as you saw, and then I use targeted Facebook advertisements. Whenever you're using a boosted post on Facebook, what is your call to action button? Is call now not what you want? Do you want a learn more that redirects to your site always?
Yeah, I always do that. I wish they had more options. Like I hate that it says learn more, but that's what I always use.
Well, there's also a sign up now, but even then, some people won't click that because they're afraid. But learn more,
yeah, I've never done that. I've always done learn more. That's
okay. And then as far as like you keep all your marketing in house, you never use someone else to do your marketing, right?
Correct.
Yeah. What do you think of Chris Schaefer's thing that he does with? Are you familiar with him?
I know him. I mean, I've heard him in some of the groups, but I don't know what his program is.
Yeah, all he does is he essentially runs your Facebook campaigns for you. So he essentially on the back end of Facebook runs all sorts of targeted advertisements that are based off of your demographic of your area in an effort to reach, potential clients. And his claims are that you generate, 20, 30, 40 leads, a month even from it. But your spend is ridiculous. It costs $800 a month, for his service. And then on top of that, you still have to pay the ad spend, which is like $200 to $300,
You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to look online for an online, like you're better off spending $500 finding an online course that's going to teach you how to do that. I think when it comes to marketing, at the end of the day, it's really got to be the owner who's driving that ship. Now, I did pay someone to teach me years ago, or I did outsource my Facebook ads. And then I said, would you teach me, kind of explain it to me what you're doing.
Right.
But I let them know I was going to fire them.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to do this myself. Can I just pay you? Can we do an hour call? And you just kind of talk. I know I paid him his rate.
Yeah.
And, but I think through self-education, through YouTube, and then maybe doing some course, you could, I don't know, spend $100, couple $100 and find a good online course on how to, do Facebook ads.
Sure. Okay. So Facebook, have you done any traditional marketing methods? Have you ever sent out a really well done postcard? Like every door direct mail and hit
done it all
neighborhoods with it.
done it all, and it's
Are
all the
there
way. I think if I had a huge budget, if you have a huge budget, I think, like, I feel like postcards and direct mail is good for just building brand awareness.
right,
It's like buying like a billboard on a highway.
right,
It's like, how many people are really going to like make that call? Um, but you kind of build your brand, your brand, and it's like
right,
people like us don't have that kind of money.
right.
I think through just organic, consistent Instagram and Facebook, and really learning.
So
Um,
you're not even about boost necessarily.
I was with my school. Now that I have a new business, I'm trying to figure out like what works for this model, because now, I used to be business to customer, and I
Right,
had great visuals of kids playing music.
right.
Now I'm business to business, and I don't have these great visuals anymore. Like, I can't.
All I've got is a picture of a Jew with a microphone at his computer.
Right, like what else am I going to do with that? Right, it's well, but that's what it is. It needs to be. Like, for me, I'll tell you, this was my big dilemma. Was
Sure.
But let me show you, was this. Hold on. I talked to some of my mentors, and it's, do I put my picture and do I put my name in that?
Oh, I love that one. Yeah, that's a great one.
Do I put my picture and my name in there, and do I
Yeah,
make
because
everything about me? And it's like, no, right. I had to like just get over it. And it's like, no, it is about me, because I'm sharing knowledge I have. And
right,
like, and then it was the same issue when I started my school. I put my name in it because I was the only teacher in it.
right.
And not that I regretted it, but then when I grew, it's like, oh, it didn't really make sense to have my name in it, because it wasn't about me anymore.
Sure.
And all I'm selling now is information. So it's like, oh, well, this at least goes, well, who is this guy and what's his story?
Uh-huh.
And so I'm kind of learning. It's like, no, I got to get my story now as a part of the product. Are you familiar with Dave's Killer Bread?
I'm not.
So next time you're in the grocery store, check it out. The story is, so this guy, it's bread, and there's a picture of this kind of rough looking character holding a electric guitar on it. I'm like, why is that a picture of the bread? And I read it, and turns out that Dave went to jail for armed robbery. And when he got out of jail, he started a new life, and he, created his bread company, and he only hires ex-cons.
That's cool.
And by buying his bread, you're buying into giving people a second chance. And that's his whole sales angle, is give people a second chance. And he doesn't talk about the bread. The bread is amazing. And it's a great lesson in branding. It's like, Earl Jones here, he's not even talking about music lessons. He's saying, we're big. We're the biggest one.
Well, and then if you read the about and so forth, it's all about him. About us, he did the same thing I did. It's all about Earl Jones.
Right. And so all you got to do is, if someone's considering you or them, and they go here, you want them to go, wow, this Kelly guy, he gets me. He understands what it is that I want. Music lessons that, make confident kids, or what does he say? Just something, yeah. So he's talking about emotions and character traits, and that's what you got to talk about.
Yeah.
I want my kid to feel that.
Sure.
I'll do it in, whether it takes karate, I'll do it in theater, I'll do it wherever I got to go. My kid's got to make that connection.
Yeah.
Like, parents don't care about music. I mean, or they care about their kids first. You
Right.
care more about Leo. You care more about Leo's personal development than you care about whether he's going to play drums or not. If drums is not his thing, so be it. As long as Leo connects, finds himself in the world, is confident, and has the tools that he needs to succeed in life. That's all you care about.
Right.
And you just got to say to your customers, that's all I care about for
So
you.
simple is always better. Never have a wall of text.
Right. Those big, and people don't read it. Like, people might not ever read that, but they'll glance at it. And that's why I like to kind of, bold a few words to kind of pop out, because those words that they'll read. Now, for some people will read it, but something that I like to do is I'll go, okay, I know that most people aren't going to read all this, so I'm going to bold a few words that are going to really build their desire in case they read those bolded words.
Uh-huh.
For example, you have the word welcome. That doesn't mean anything to anyone. But what if you had something like, just something that's going to build desire? Like some people say things like, your musical journey begins today. It's like, parents they don't care about the musical journey. They care about what's going to happen to their kid. What are you going to do for my kid? Oh, we're going to start his musical journey today. I don't care about that. Like what's the musical journey going to do the musical journey is going to make your kid feel more confident. And now you're talking.
That's cool.
Like one of the things that martial arts really has down that we don't is they always talk about the discipline that your kid's going to learn, the self-discipline. And that's just a part of the martial arts culture. And that's not a part of the music culture. We don't talk about that much, and if you can come out and talk about, hey, this is your kid's going to look like this boy. Like this is a great picture. I mean, this kid looks really happy. He looks like he's like having the time of his life. Do you have that picture in color?
I don't.
Yeah. I mean, a color version of that would totally nail it.
Right. And there's enough space beside him for all those buttons,
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, I do have to hop on to another call. Kelly, it was great connecting with you, and hope you found this helpful.
Yeah, it was great. Thank you very much for your time, sir.
Yeah, and I'll upload this to YouTube, and it'll be on it'll be unlisted.
Sure.
But you'll be able to review it with the link.
Very good. Thanks so much.
All right, take care.
All right, thanks. See you.
All right, bye.